Hey guys, it's Mama Bear. Come on into my kitchen today while we try dehydrated beef. Thanks for joining me in the kitchen. You can see I have my extra lean ground beef and I have almond flour. So a pound of ground beef and half a cup of, it calls for breadcrumbs in the recipe from the Recipes for Adventure, and it's by Chef Glenn McAllister. You sort of have to over season this in order for it to work with your rice or your pasta and the vegetables that are going to be put into it. It's not just straight ground beef when the recipe is put together. So I'm going to over season it the way I like it. And I'm using onion powder, garlic powder, black pepper, and salt. This is a pound. How many servings is that going to make? Is that going to be 2 servings? 2 8-ounce servings? Or is that going to be 4 4-ounce servings? That's totally up to you. For me, this will probably be 3 or 4 servings. So I'm going to use it, I'm going to season it according to that. So now that that's thoroughly mixed and there's none of the almond flour or seasoning laying in the bottom of the bowl, and you go ahead and you fry that up. Instead of adding oil to the pan, which would add extra fat and we don't want that to go rancid, I've put water in the pan. It actually helps to break the beef up into smaller bits. I only added a cup of water, so it's not a whole lot. It should just be enough to get it started. It will brown up nicely and dehydrate and then rehydrate beautifully too. I prefer to line my tray with parchment paper because it dries underneath a lot faster than the hard plastic trays do. With the magic of YouTube, look at that, we're back already. I dehydrated a pound of ground beef mixed with almond meal. It gave me 2 cups worth of gravel. I dehydrated 2 servings of pasta that I boiled up, and I'll just split that into 2 servings when I go to use it. On a previous date, I dehydrated a bunch of mixed vegetables. I've got broccoli and cauliflower, carrots, peppers, onions, all kinds of things in there. And then I'm going to put all my measurements into a baggie. I want to do cheese sauce mix today, so I've opened a cheese sauce mix. I've taken a little bit out of there, 1 tablespoon of that. I've added a tablespoon of powdered milk, and I've added a tablespoon of Parmesan cheese. You can make this in other flavors if you want. I've got a gluten-free gravy mix here if you wanted to add more peppers and make it like a pepper beef, or beef stew, veggie rice, beef stew sort of thing. And I have a taco mix if you wanted to make it Tex-Mex. Of course, you can make this yourself and not use the packaged ingredients. I have a recipe in another video, an older video, I'll link there. And I've got the baggie. I'm going to fold the top down so it stands up by itself. There we go. I want half of this, a third of this jar. That's plenty. And half of this, because this was 2 servings. Oops, that's too much. Okay. This is quite a lot of vegetables. I'm going to take half of this packet. And then my seasoning mix. Oh, and you know what? I love black pepper with my my cheese. Cheese and black pepper just, to me, is the way to go. So here I've got my Parmesan, my cheese mix, and my powdered milk. Mix all your ingredients through so the pasta and the beef are surrounded with the cheese sauce. Make sure you've got clean water to start with, so whether you've filtered it or brought in bottled water or boiled it to a hard boil yourself, so you're using clean water. Okay, that's just about half that pot. This is a 700 ml pot. This is a Tom Shoe titanium 750. You put in enough water to just cover that, maybe a 1/4 inch above that. There we go, a 1/4 inch above that. Stir it up. I'm going to let that sit for 5 minutes. Let's give it a stir. Let's, oh, the carrots are starting to rehydrate. I love it. Shredded carrots. Okay, I'm gonna bring that to a boil. It soaked for 5 minutes. I brought it to a boil, and then I wrapped it in a cozy and let it sit for another 5 to 10 minutes. It's still too hot for me to touch because the cozy did such a great job. Have a look. You can see that the broccoli rehydrated beautifully, and the shredded carrots, I just buy the matchstick carrots and they dehydrate really nicely and rehydrate beautifully. And the macaroni's fine. This is cauliflower. It came up nicely. And the beef came, oh, that's a piece of broccoli. The beef came up nicely. It's still attached to a piece of broccoli. And if you can see, the noodles are quite soft. They're actually bending under my fork, so they've rehydrated properly. And now for the result. How does it taste? Hang on a minute, I'll show you. All right, so now we're gonna have our taste test. I've got my guinea pig here beside me. Are you making goofy faces at the camera?
That's what I do best.
Okay, so here's the pot. There's mine. There we go. Have a look at that. Lots of veggies. Lots of meat and cheese, sauce, and noodles.
There we go.
What do you think?
Good stuff.
The texture came out right.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Could use a little hot sauce.
You put hot sauce on everything. Alright, thanks for sticking around, guys. Of course, there are links down in the description, and the other video I linked will be up there down there as well. And get out there and have fun on the trails. Enjoy your adventures.